Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Through It All with Kolo Olubodi. I trust that we are good. I hope all has been well with us. One thing I know is that God's grace will always abound unto every one of us, and God's grace will always be sufficient unto us. We are in a time that everything seems just to be upside down, but I know that even in times like this, that's when the grace of God abound even for his own. So there is a time for you to keep asking God for his grace upon your life. All right. So through it all is all about giving people hope. It's all about using our stories to comfort, to encourage, and to give people even that hope that if the Lord had taken us through what we have been through, and by his grace we are who we are now, then it can help you also. So that's what Through It All is all about. And the name of the program was derived from my book, Through It All. Through It All is on the screen, is the memoir of my many trials and triumph. I've been through it all, been through disability, been through rejections, I've been through betrayals, I've been through finding it difficult to get who to marry, been through infertility, I've been through starting a business and everything crumbling, even like parts of card. So I've been through it all. So I wrote the book to capture all the challenges I've been through in life and how God showed up for me in them, even the ones that seems to be permanent. The Lord also had really been faithful, like the case of the disability. Even in it, God had been my strength. All right, so if you're interested in getting a copy of the book, just visit tia.com.ng. tia.com.ng. All right, so tonight, let's go into tonight's business. My guest tonight is someone, I can't even remember how we got connected. One thing I just know is that I admire him so much. I see some of the things he's doing in the IT world, and I just admire him, you know. And so when his name dropped in my mind as regards who's going to be the next guest on Through It All, when his name dropped, I said, aha, this is the time. It's been long that I've always had this person in mind. Now we hear his story also. So I'll be hearing his story for the first time as he's going to be sharing it with you. All right. So my guest tonight is Dayo Ayeni. He's going to be introducing himself to us. And I'm so sure that we're going to be so blessed, so inspired by his story. So, brother, you're welcome to Through It All.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me, sir. I feel so honored and privileged to be on your show.
All right. So, I'm not sure I first got your contact. Can you remember?
I honestly can't remember how we connected. But you've been that mentor that I follow and I see what you're doing and I see excellence everywhere.
Of course, I follow you also because I see someone that is so resilient, someone that wants to make that mark in the area of his profession. So I know I'd followed you here and there, and I'd always admired what you've done. I mean, what you are even still doing. So it's a big honor, even on my own side, to have you as my guest tonight.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Okay. All right. So, like I said in the intro, through it all is all about giving people hope, comforting people, letting them know that um, all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to His purpose. All right. So I'm going to start by asking you to properly introduce yourself. Who is Dayo Ayeni?
Okay. So, my name is Ayeni Kundaya, and I do digital marketing and transformation. God has helped me grow into owning a couple of organizations here and there. We've been able to spread into 15 organizations,
Wow.
ranging from fintech, where we have a microfinance, to the digital world, where we consult for the who is who by God's grace. And we also have, I have a bakery. I have the small businesses here and there that we all do. So extensively, I've just done different things, and then doing
Wow.
real estate, and then we've expanded business to Ghana and the US.
Wow.
So God has just helped us.
Wow. Wow. So that's what they call serial entrepreneur.
Exactly, sir.
Um, you're in different fields. So wow, that's so wonderful. All right, so let's go into your story, bro Dayo. And like I always tell people, I always love it if you take it from Genesis to
Okay.
Revelation.
Okay.
Within the time frame that we have.
So I'll try to just okay. So I was about 17 years old. I'll be 16 going to 17. When I had to leave the house because there were two things that happened. My dad lost his job. He was
Wow.
working in the UN, and it was just about the time I was getting into the university. So to even the first school fees I was going to pay was 1,090 naira. My dad didn't have it. So I literally went to the university, and I was there seeing my name on the list of people that were admitted, but I didn't have school fees. So they told me they would send me money, but there was no GSM at that time. These people, so there's this phone that our neighbor had that you go and there is one time we all agreed that we will call each other. So it was 4 p.m. So I had this small Nitel card, then I would go and call Ejoso Wotiwa. And they didn't have the 1,090. So God help me, I had this auntie that was in Mina because I went to Federal University of Technology that gave me the money. She paid my tuition, she paid everything, and then gave me an extra, is it 5,000 too, so that I can settle in school. So I bought the mattress, the 6 by 3 inches mattress. There was
Mm.
no still accommodation, nothing. So I just started that way. And it became different kind of stories. The 90 naira on it was supposed to be for accommodation then, but there was no accommodation on campus. So, but the opportunity was I was doing all these small teach children at home mathematics because I did mathematics and computer science in the university.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was very mathematics. So tutorial lessons, I was doing all of that. I was gathering, I would get maybe 2,000 from the whole month, 5,000. I put that to shuffle. But as time was going, I couldn't keep up with with the time for the lesson. So I switched to painting of houses. So I started painting houses for people. That was in my
Wow.
level, my 300 level. So because my course was 5 years, in 300 level, you have an option of going on IT for 3 months. So I decided I wanted to learn how to fix computers, but there were not so much computers at that time because
Hmm.
I was around the advent of computer coming to Nigeria. So I've been coming around the campuses. So I learned it, but computers were very heavy then because you have to carry it on your head. They're not like
Exactly.
carry around. So I will go look for people who had problem with their computers. I will fix it. I'll get 500, get small money. But I also had this drive that could burn CDs. So I
Hmm.
would, after class in the morning, I'll just sit down, I'll look at land marketing because I was doing evangelism and I'd always been a believer. At 14, I organized the first crusade I ever did. Then we had over about 200 people who attended the crusade in the
Wow.
estates. So it's just like, so I thought I was going to full-time ministry. So the good thing is that evangelism helps you become a good marketer because you always have a way to approach people. So I will approach my classmates and tell them that this new CD, you need to have it. Professor teaches all kind of software.
Hmm.
Give me 500 naira. I'll go and buy CD or I'll look for where to burn it and then I'll go and give them. As I selling, so I sold diskette, moved to CD, then moved to flash. I
Wow.
remember by the time I was entering my 400 level, there was this deadline we had that, when you don't pay school fees on time, they'll now tell you that you are paying late fees and all of that. And I couldn't pay the late fees. So I went to somebody across the school, then all these people that sell things around the school, and I gave them my admission letter. And I said to the man that give me 18 flash drive or 20. I was 20, I asked, so I had 18, that we sell it. And when I finish, when I bring the money, you should give me my admission letter back. That night, I sold 16 flash drive
Wow.
between 5 p.m. and 3 a.m. I was going from room to room in the hostel, telling people, you need flash drive, you need this, and they were paying, and I was making my money, and I paid the following day. I went to give the guy his money, and I got my admission letter back. So I was that kind of person. So I will tell you that success was not something you just achieve. I was ready to
Hmm.
work for it. I was ready to
So true.
burn
Hmm.
those. And yet I was a student. So it wasn't like something magical. So by the time I was crossing from 400 level to 500 level, we now did this long IT that I now happened to work in the school senate. And then I now knew all the people there were the who is who. And one day I was in the registrar's office. And because I grew up in the northern part of Nigeria, I had a bit of Hausa and they were discussing how they want to supply computers and all of that. But I couldn't, so I couldn't do much. So I met the man who was to supply, and I said I'll work with him. That
Hmm.
don't I will help him do all the setup because I fix computers now. And he's happy. He said, okay, no problem. So he bought all the accessories, he bought the casing, the motherboard, all of those things that we used to buy then. And for everyone I was assembling, he was giving me 1,000 naira.
Wow.
So I assembled over 200. So I had so much money to play with. My school fees then had become like 14,000. I paid. I was happy I could pay for rent. So by the time I was graduating, I had money. So I became like a rich man on campus.
Wow.
And 90 minutes of the time I was just giving, I was doing all kind of things. And God also helped me that period because that helped me focus because um, of those times you go and do 10 hours with God on the mountain, you do 5 hours with God, you pray. I happen to have read the New Testament over like 14 times at that time, because that was the only thing I knew I could face. Any other thing was moving. And Niger State then was under Sharia regime, so you couldn't even do, there were even vices that people could really do much, except you go into the barracks or the zones where military or police covered. And my dad will always say, "Run your money to jail." All those kind of, you don't have the luxury of every other person's lifestyle.
Remember the son of whom you are.
Exactly. So that statement. So leaving school, found a friend who was like 2 years. He had graduated 2 years before me. He was working with was doing all this VSAT installation back in the day. So I would follow him. We were traveling in his car. I would be his P. I would do everything. And literally, I was like so people say, I was in Shomodo. For me, I just believe in serving that we learn this thing in the process. Whilst that was on, I ended up learning how to install VSAT and do networking. So we'll go on the mass to do that. Then I went for my NYC. While I was in camp, an interesting experience happened. I went to the OBS and I was announcing to people because I'd bought a lot of CDs of softwares for training. And I will announce that if you want to learn so and so thing, or come to the OBS and people will come, they will give me 200 naira, 300 naira, and they buy my CD. And I was selling all these things, all those books. and I made 90,000 while I was in camp.
Wow. Wow.
So I became so famous during my NYC that even when there was a project the government was doing and they needed core members to come and work for them, HP was coming to set up in Ebonyi and all of that, and they
Hmm.
gave me all the projects. 3 weeks into my NYC days, I'd made over 500,000, and I just had this thing that I was selling. So I opened an accessory shop, so I was selling computers. So I had these people in Computer Village that will send me stuff, and I will sell, and I will return the money, and I was just doing that. Then one day my shop overnight got robbed and they emptied everything out,
Wow.
and I was so out of shape. Everything just went out. So I carried my bag. The computers I had at home was about six. I packed everything. Enter God is good. The young shall grow. Arrived at Jibo. I just said I was coming to Lagos. There was this friend of mine who had finished service too. And I said he will accommodate me in Ogba. And
Wow.
he didn't take my calls when I arrived Lagos. So I was there at Jibo just by that fella house there, and I would stay. I stayed like 3 days, but my mom kept calling and asking, "Oh, daughter, know this," and I would be playing hard. I go, "I'm not worried, mommy. I have accommodation." But she goes, so one she called me around 2 a.m. that she wants to talk to the person I was staying with. So at that time, I opened up to her that I don't have accommodation.
Wow.
So I then spent like 4 days. Then there was the then administration had planted flowers around those areas, so the place was cool, cozy. So we sleep inside that flower. When we load those buses in the night, we go and sleep out there. So I packed the whole thing, went to like this our brother that stayed in Onipa and then my uncle. And the man also did not have much. He was staying in room and parlor. He had two kids, and my cousin was staying there. His wife's cousin was staying there, and I was sleep on the couch. So I wake up in the morning, pack my things, get into BRT from Fadeye, go to the island, and I'll just sleep. So I had over 200 CVs that I printed. So I will just be distributing it like flyer. Everywhere I get to, I need job. And in that process, one day, Skybank, something happened. The HR of Skybank saw me. I was arguing with them at the reception that I wanted to see him, and he was there. And I didn't know him, but I said, "Oh, I don't have an appointment, but I need to see him. There was something critical I need to discuss with the HR." But these people were looking at this very slim, thin boy. That what is it that he was looking for? But the man said, "Okay, come, let's talk." And when we got talking, I told him, "Oh, these are the product of Skybank." I broke down everything about their products. This is for kids,
Wow.
treasure, this, that. The man said, "You have so much insight about our product, but you need to be refined a bit." Passed me to the 2, 3 interviews. He said, "You know what? You resume on Monday." The resumption happened, and I saw that they put me in marketing. 3 job, I ran away because I didn't want to do banking. I ran away, went into so I then I done DLA in Daystar. So in that process, I met a woman whose husband wanted to do startup. Then it's called Hot to Mansion, like all these websites where they do property sales now. And we started
Hmm.
that project, and Johnny started. He put me on a 50K salary, and I was pushing, but the 50K was not even sufficient because I was in Aguda. The house was in Onipan, and I didn't have a home. I don't eat breakfast and lunch. It's dinner alone. And the house was so fantastic. You also can't use toilet some days. So we have to go. I go to the bank and form as if I want to do banking transaction. I will go to an eatery and go and use the restroom. And that was the way. The only thing I do there is I take my bath and I sleep at night, wake up very early.
Wow.
So I did some savings, got my own space, and we started the whole journey from there. So I then had this company that was called Niger Express. We were printing magazine, went into magazine printing. So we'll come to all these big, some of them are still around now, DreamWorks, IT World, all of them. They give us their adverts. They pay us some money, like 40,000, 50,000. We now use it to print those magazines, and then we'll be distributing in front of all the big churches. And then there was a very famous church somewhere around what they call it now. around the solo, yeah, those the solo axis towards Festa. Very big church. We went to distribute that magazine one day, and then they arrested us. That we came with another that
I
our
did
gospel,
what?
that we came with another gospel that we're trying to lure their and police warned us and warned us and warned us. So that's like causing some distractions. And then when they started doing things like platform, I will go there. Any speaker that comes, I will tell them I want to sell their books. I'll stay outside then in TBS and start marketing and be ringing bell and be selling their books like that. So opportunities were just not coming, but I was there. I was in all of that. So that whole phase, I was learning website design, I was doing programming, I was learning all those things in my house. And time for rent will come. There was this woman that was very supportive woman, we call her Yakalaba. So Mama Calabar knows that the way it works is that we will eat now. We'll come and pay you money. We'll come and pay you money tomorrow. So we will hold you for 2 days or 3 days. When we have money, we'll come, we eat, we pay that day. But we now owe you for the next food. We say, will they come? She knows that these people. So she was just very supportive. She understood that these guys are just struggling to make ends meet. And gradually, you keep listening, you keep praying, you keep looking for all kind of things. That process, I walked into Super Screen then, and I just told them that I want to be doing money motivation. And and these people just believed me and put me on TV, and I was on their TV for 2 years. Every Monday, I'm there, suited with tie, and I'll be telling you, they aspire to perspire to inspire. And when I finish and I come down, I will trek to Obanikoro from Onikpa. I say we have the money and all of that. Then I'll be looking at people. I went to serve under people. I'll join people who are doing well. I'll just come. I want to volunteer. Some people will say, no, we can't allow you. All kind of things. Some people will insult you. Some people will be happy with you. Then I was very active on social media. So I just keep posting, keep posting. Then somebody was coming from London one day and saw my activities online. I said, oh, I want to host events and I need you to help me promote it. And I just said to the man, it was 40,000. The man said, okay, no problem, and he sent me the money. 40,000 was like a lot of money because I've been through a lot in that
Wow.
period. And I helped him. The hall was full. And he said, please, can you just work with me? I have a lot of operations in Nigeria, and he needed me to learn how it works. And the whole operation, we're doing printing, we're doing stuff, we're doing magazines and all of that. So he
Mm.
started showing me, okay, this is how you pitch. This is how to do. So we were working for the big banks, we were printing their financial reports. So that whole process, I learned marketing properly with the corporate sense. So that's why I'm able to do B2B. All
Wow.
that period, I didn't have accommodation so strongly, and I started learning how to work with all these corporate financing, how to issue invoice, how to do follow up, how does your email relate to this, and that gave me some soft landing. So it was direct mentorship because he was not living in Nigeria, so he tell me what to do, I go and do it. Once he arrives in Nigeria, we can be on the road for the next 1 month, traveling from place to place, building relationship, talking to people, making new connects. This guy was in London because the man lives in London. Person was in London. He's now the head of marketing of this organization. You need to reach out to him. So we continued till so I became a bit balanced because I was earning a bit of income. And met my wife, but my wife was in oil and gas. And every time my wife travels and come back there, these oil and gas something, she'll make like 1 million. And we're dating, and my whole money was no more than maybe 70,000 for the whole month. So that thing about a young man trying to be strong, I can't take her out too much because also, so we were just balancing things out. So she will come, she will say, want to take accommodation, when you go for marriage council, the man needs to have a house. My whole budget was maybe 200 or 250. And you know where that kind of house can be. And she has almost 4 million in her account. And this is where she wants to live. So, want to do wedding hall. This is the hall. The price was almost 1 million. And I know what my money was. So I'll just, wrap her, don't worry, things are gonna get better. And somehow she believed. From there, she paid most of these fees. So she paid for the rent, she did all of that. And we moved on. And then that whole process, the man I was working with, the business I having challenges. The day I got married was the last time I got salary. Was even at my wedding engagement that I got the last salary. And first month, second month, 6 months, 7 months down the line, there was no salary. So it
Wow.
was only my wife that was taking care of all of us. So we were just there. She was paying all the bills. I was still doing all of that. Then we had this friend who had a challenge. She had triplets. She went to have a baby and then she passed on, and only one baby survived it. Then my wife said she didn't want to have a baby in Nigeria, that we should go and try the US visa thing. And then we just went, and then they gave us the visa. And to be honest with you, they asked us when we were going to get the visa. The interviewer asked, "Are you pregnant? Do you want to have a baby in the US?" And we said yes. I said, "Okay, no problem. For being truthful, you have it." And they gave us an approval. So we went, and that comes to the fact that when people are honest, God will always make things work for you.
Exactly.
Just got that, went to the US, had the baby, but we came back and that was a major challenge. All the money we had was what we went to use to have the baby. And I was in a transaction with a friend, which I was hoping would come true, was supposed to be my business partner. We got the money, and to put in context, the money was 15 million.
Mm.
Which was equivalent to $100,000 at that time, or a little more, because dollar was still very low. That was in 2013.
Okay.
But he had squandered most of the money living in hotels, living the lottery life that he also had not experienced before, because that was the first money he had. Yoruba did that says the first money a child has, if we use it to eat
Use
akara.
to eat akara.
Squandered everything.
Mm.
So it was challenging. The house we rented, it was on our neck that we should move out. Graciously, my father-in-law offered me his office space to go and live in with my wife and my kid, my son then. And we launched this our business that we do today. Because also I didn't want to compete with my boss directly in his line. So I didn't go into what he was doing, into the branding and all those advertising and printing things. So we went into digital marketing and pioneered it in Nigeria heavily. So we started doing bulk email marketing, we started doing the social media management, and opportunities started coming. One person would here introduce us. And at the time, we're doing marketing that we're sending 100,000 emails every day, continuously for almost 6 months. So we
Wow.
were everywhere. We became like famous. And something led to the other. I found myself in front of the richest black man.
Okay.
And the man till today is my client. So God
Wow.
help us. We manage his social media, we manage his reputation online. From there, today we manage likes of the Olu of Wari, the Cubana, the Sanusi Lamido, everybody. So most of
Wow.
those people have been our clients along the way. And some of these HNIs, um, there is a principle I used to say that you can be interpreting dream like Joseph in the prison. There is
Mm.
a reward. But the day God takes you to the palace, there is a king's reward that is totally different. And don't make your
Exactly.
lifestyle chase you out of that place, because you didn't achieve these things because your dad knew somebody or your mom knew somebody. It was just God's grace and privileges. And when they call you and they sign you a check or they
Mm.
send you some money and you look at the figures, and the Bible says when the way of when
Man
you find a
pleases
man
the Lord. Okay.
exactly, even his enemies will be at peace with him.
Yeah.
And then when you're diligent what you do, you will stand before kings. Because today when they say, oh, so and so embassy wants to have meeting with you, and I ask myself, how did I arrive there? From somebody who did not have accommodation, who didn't have a car, you own a house in Nigeria, you own outside Nigeria, you own accommodations, you own houses, you now take rent from. You're asking yourself that, okay, how did God give you a sprint through the journey? Because loads and loads of things. I went to there was a day somebody just called out of the blues. they introduced me to him. He was in an agency and just called me out of the blues that I heard that they were talking. He said, you know how to do website? I said, yes. He said, where are you? I said, I was in Onipan. He said, okay, come now. You want to go and meet a bank chairman? I said, bank chairman. I went to Onipan bus stop, bought shirt, trouser, and shoe that I wore. And then I had a Corolla. I quickly drove, met them, said, no. The first took us to one of the big telcos. They now said the chairman of the telco was the one that wants to give us the meeting. So we went to his house in Ikoyi. And the man looked at me in the eyes and said, you know the kind of committee that you want to work with? I said, no, sir. He started mentioning the owners of aircraft in Nigeria, the owner of these are all in this committee, and you will be developing the website for the Ebola project.
Wow.
And I said to him, he said, wow, how did I start here? And I got that Ebola project, and I was doing Ebola, and it was crazy. God just gives you that opportunity. And to try to maintain that relationship, there's always that place that I say, sir, I'm around in town, so just let me come and greet you. Because some of those people are the ones that will call you. I was coming from Accra, he just called me out of the blues again. There is another chairman of another bank whose son is having challenge with his school, and I feel you're an IT boy, you need to come and help him. And I drove down there. I finished the class. I taught him, basic website, HTML, and all of that. And when I was going, he said, "How much is your fee?" I said, "Any amount you give me, sir." He said, "You must give me a fee." I said, "Sir, I can't give you a fee." He said, "Okay, give me your account number." I gave him. And before I left Nikon Town, I received 1 million naira as lesson fee for teaching lesson less than 2 hours. And it's just like, how does this work? 2 days after he called me, they said they need a prompter because okay, you do background check, so they need a prompter that I'll be there to stand while the guy is doing the exam. And I went there, I did the exam. So I have your account number. I sent me another 500. So in less than 1 week, a bank chairman actually me money. Because in my head, I would have even naturally I would have said maybe 50,000 or something will have come, but
Exactly.
I couldn't say that this is the amount. And these are lessons over the years you learn. And all these relationships, I make sure they're doing birthday and there, end of year, they are there because you're just going to make sure. Because if God is going to bless you, God is going to use a man, but
Mm.
you must make sure that relationship is never cut off because the Bible said the child Jesus grew in wisdom and had favor with God
God
and with
and
men.
with men. Mm.
So there's a place where you have favor with God and you have favor with men. Most times we take away the favor with men. We keep praying for the favor with God. That is good, but you also need the favor of God with men because it's men God is going to use. The Bible says in the fullness of 2 years, then Pharaoh had a dream, and that was when Joseph was remembered.
Mm.
So the fullness of 2 years. So you want to be there that God, I want to be top of mind. Like some prayers I pray, I say, God, let there be problem in the palace that they will call me for.
Hallelujah.
Let just have problem and I'll be the solution. There was somebody that recommended David. So have you seen David, the son of Jesse, that plays the harp? I said in the palace, everybody plays harp. There are specialists in the palace, but the person knew that there is David somewhere. And the person was sitting before the king because the day the opportunities will come, you will not be in the room. It's somebody that called during board meeting and say, I know this boy, I know this person, I feel this
Mm.
person is doing this thing for us. So that is how it works. And that is
Wow.
how opportunities will honestly come your way because it's just been God all the way. There are no
Hallelujah.
magic. There is nobody that as I used to say, God just calls, you just discover that your neighbor somebody will just call you and say, hey, you can do this thing, right? Just come to Abuja now. I said the day I met Kubana, I was going to travel on Friday, and the man said, you cannot travel. That I want you to meet somebody tomorrow. And I just waited on the Saturday. They called me, come to Sanzo location. That I got there was Kubana. I didn't know it was the one. And we had great relationship today. And it's just God all the way. People just call me randomly because that prayer, I keep praying it. I say, God, let my name be called where decisions are being made for good. Because I've also been in places where they want to call somebody for a job. Somebody will say, no, 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 those people, they are not good. It's just, and you won't be there. So when God gives you that favor, you don't want to take it for granted. You don't want to take it for a ride. Many people, I sent out an email sometime in 2014, and somebody saw the email and called me. And the man mentors me today. He just said to me that I should come. And when I got there, I discussed, he was saying we'll talk to our CEO. I didn't know he was the owner of the company. He will talk to our CEO, we'll talk to our CEO. And when we finished, he called, I should do a training. I did the training for his organization. That was the day I realized was the CEO. I billed them 150. When we finished in the evening, sent me 300 and said, what you delivered was over syllabus. Take 300.
Wow. Wow.
And since then, we've had fantastic relationship. Is in your industry too. So it's just those kind of people that just keep coming.
Mm.
And he sees me. Sometimes he sees my picture somewhere. Say, "Come at that event. I think you should talk this way. Do like this. Don't behave this way." So you recommended me to go and speak in the event. So and I've never even seen you before. That's interesting. So
Wow.
God just gives me that favor that do this. I meet with pastors. I privilege. Opportunities just come. Just sit down and God will just put me up in somebody's mind and say, do something for him now. And it's just been that grace that has worked for me. And there are no magics to it, but I also worked hard. In
Exactly.
digital marketing, I have over 46 certifications currently. I've done a lot of executive program. I've been to Harvard. I've done some bit in Stanford. I finished Lagos Business School sometimes last year, owner management program. So I just do things to make sure also I'm skillful because you don't get this level of mileage or opportunities without being skillful. God
Exactly.
wants to do things in people's life, but you also need to prove yourself that you are skillful enough to be able to access the opportunity God wants you to access.
Wow.
And you're able to do that at that level, at that scale. So many, many things like that, sir.
Wow. 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 Now I know why God dropped your name in my heart. Wow. I'm blown, I'm blown away with all these. You know,
Yes,
uh, from someone that could not even pay school fees to someone
exactly,
that people are actually calling here and there. It could
exactly,
only have been God.
exactly, sir.
There is a scripture that came to my mind as you were talking, Genesis 24, verse 27.
Wow.
The servant that Abraham sent to go get a wife for Isaac. After he had met Rebekah, the Bible said he was observing whether God has prospered his steps. And then when he
Exactly.
asked Rebekah, after she had, shown that that she was somebody that was serviceable, somebody nice, and of course pretty, and he was just observing. After he asked, I said, "So, tell me about your family," and then he now mentioned the family of I think that was a brother or a sister to Abraham. And
Exactly.
that servant made a statement in verse 27, said, I been on the way. The Lord
Wow.
led me to the
Wow.
house of my master's brethren. I
Wow.
been on the way. And also, as you were talking, the whole thing just came back to me that, oh, this had always been my formula in life. Just keep
Yeah.
going on and
Yeah.
things will keep moving, falling in place in your
Yeah.
life.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know?
because something very miraculous happened to me recently. So my family lives in the US now, and they have been there over a year plus. And I got to the US, and the first day I said, okay, I want to sit down here for a while. And I said to God, I said, look, I don't want to pay rent at this level and not be able to accommodate them. And they practically told me it was impossible to own a house.
Wow.
And I just went for a meeting just to go and learn, attend trainings. And they started explaining how it's possible. And a man said, okay, I'll buy the house and gift it to you. That
Wow.
was the formula. So you can't tell me not to give out a gift. So I woke up in 3 months of being in the US, I bought a house. So
Wow.
literally, the man said, look, don't worry, I'll take care of all the responsibility and I'll pass it on to you. It was just, this is somebody I'd never seen before. That was the first day I was seeing the man. and the
Mm.
transaction happened. My wife was a bit worried. So won't need to know, won't need to, that kind of maybe fraud and all. It just happens. And we're still
Wow.
great friends today. This because these are people I've never seen before. I
Mm.
said, go and select any house you want. We went around, we saw the house, we liked it. Said, don't worry, I will buy everything and I will pass it to you. And it just happens. So most times people don't see that part. Because I was just saying it in the meeting that how is it possible for somebody who doesn't live in the United States, well, who don't have 2 years tax, who have this to buy, said it's possible. This is legal and I'll do it for you. And he just did it.
Wow.
And that became a pathway. Also, another business entirely. That was one of the business like we opened. Said, as many people as you want, I'll put you on a mortgage and you're good and you're fine. Don't worry.
Wow.
Just
Wow. You know, I'm just saying that resilience, that doggedness, that self-reliance, the way you just do your things, the entrepreneurial, side of
exactly.
you. Now, so the question I want to ask, Brother Ayo, and I'm asking this on behalf of the young ones, the youth of these days, can anybody do what you did? From the day you got into the university and you were selling flash drives, you were, dubbing CDs, and then you were burning
Exactly.
it and handing it over, and you were making 500, making 1,000, got to NYC camp, and you were, and you were the richest copper, so to speak.
Yeah,
Can anybody do this? And if your answer is yes, how can they do it?
okay, so one thing I would say is possible, is very possible. So it's all about having your mind aligned to the right thing. So, and for the few people I've been privileged to mentor, I've been privileged to have over 100 people work with me over the years, at least. Okay, now WhatsApp group now where we have ex alumni, I have over 200
Wow,
people. So how does it happen? Some of them are students. Some come to me like copper. Some come to me during their IT. Some, like I have one, it was even GS3, I picked him up. There's
wow,
one of the guys in Mandela today joined me when he was in GS3. So how does it happen? When you have a willing heart and you have the ability to learn, because and then you want to be like the blessing of Esau. When the father blessed Esau, the last word he said to Esau, he said, the day you become weary, the burden and the yoke will be broken off by neck. It's very straightforward. The day you make that decision that I want to move forward, it may not seemingly look like the pebbles are adding up, but one day at a time, you begin to approach things differently. I, I started looking at my strategy was totally different. I was looking at the Senate. I was dealing with my lecturers because these are people who have the ability or the means to buy computer at that time.
exactly.
So begin to go after the people who are able to make that huge pocket purchase for you. We deal with SMEs, but we would rather deal with corporate organization even as a business because I don't mind you owing me as corporate because I know you will pay me, but individuals may not pay me at that level.
Exactly.
Um, then when you're beginning to go through the students thing, like I have a boy, he just reached out to me on Facebook randomly that he wanted to help me manage my Facebook account. I said, "Oh, don't worry, but I can help." He now said that he would do it for free. I said, "Don't worry, I manage my thing." So he said, "Okay, that what can I do for you voluntarily?" And I said, "Okay, I would give you one or two social media accounts to manage. 20,000 then. He started, he did well. He was a student in um, uni learning. And we
Okay.
started talking. I said, oh, and then I saw this Wikipedia thing and I said, oh, Daniel, would you like to learn Wikipedia? He said, yes. And he built the Wikipedia club in his school. And then
Wow.
gradually, today, he works remote. And what he's doing is that Wikipedia is officially a higher demand. He's earning over $70,000 in Nigeria
Wow.
and he's just Wikipedia globally. He's 25 years old. He got married last month. He's
Wow.
fine. Good. I have other ones who have come down with different young people who, over the years, I can tell you, when you're consistent and you look for something that is not too common for everybody to do, because the Bible says narrow is the way and the broad many people are found on the broad way and narrow. The more
Yeah.
you're on the broad way, any business that anybody can do, you have crowd. But the
Mm.
narrow part, it's a bit of a struggle. You do background check, for example. How many people have access to what you do? Like there was a time I was developing a software. I had to work, with NYSC and all of that. I wanted to be
Yeah.
checking line and all of that. It was difficult because of the level of approvals that we needed to get to. If you go through that part now, you will just do it because you know how many schools, how many VC, how many registrars you have relationship with today. I can. It's difficult for somebody to come and knock you out of the business because it's a pathway that is not easy, and you're doing it across Africa, and it's a
Mm.
specialized service, and you can do it globally at this time because now, if somebody wants to now learn, because one of the things is that you must be willing to go through the phase Jacob went through in the house of Laban,
Mm.
learning. You must be willing to do that on the study, do all of that. I didn't have the privilege, so it was along the line when um, my mentor would sit me down. First said, "Go and learn business writing. The way you're writing is wrong. Go and learn." I sat down. I did all the courses of business writing. I did almost six of it. Came back to him, showed him. He would tell me, "No, your grammar is still not correct. This is this." And at that time, I was already making money.
Wow.
And just before that time was when I was doing sending proposals to Dangote, and they will reject my proposal that they are typo, they this. They will circle every, they'll print it out, circle it, and send it back to me. The first proposal that went through had 6 rejections because they will circle, tell me this typographical error, the way you place it, they had syntax error. So I didn't appreciate that because I was a pure science, I did mathematics. So I didn't understand what it was to understand grammar and all of that. But having to go through that lesson sometimes would help you even
Mm.
when you think form they are fully developed. Today I'm still doing classes, I'm still learning. Some days I just sit down and I'm learning the new tech. Like yesterday was seated in the office and I told them, what is the future of what we are doing now? Because content is no longer a big deal because AI will deliver content. What is the next part of the business we should be focusing on so that we can make progress over the next 5 years? And they may not get it, but literally you can go to chat GPT and type what you want now and content is out of it.
Exactly.
So why are you, if even if I'm replying my emails now, there are even bugs and robots now that can reply my email automatically for me because I'm
Mm.
already, if I want to write a letter, I'm writing thesis, I'm writing exact extracts for all those materials now. I just do it in chat GPT and in less than few seconds I have it. Meanwhile, some people are still there saying they are content writers. Your industry is getting slimmer and slimmer. You need to
Exactly.
go to, because you will become like the typists that used to be and no longer exist. And
Mm.
these are things that God has helped me because the Bible says the wise man foresees evil and hide himself. So
Mm.
which industry would the next big thing? Are you going to focus on machine learning now because that's what powers the AI? Are you going to focus on some new dynamics, some new voice search,
Wow.
the robots that are working now? Somebody must develop those things. If you want to do, maybe even cleaners will no longer have work because robots can do those things. So you need to, that will make you stand
That's
out.
true.
There are things that very, because as we begin to grow, I was chatting with somebody today. I saw some people that look like twins, and I said, there was a generation where one person can travel with one passport can take 6 people out of Nigeria, and they will not know because they will know biometrics. So they will travel, they will send the passport back. They will, another person that looks like a person on the passport will travel out. That was like 30, 40 years ago. That was possible. Now it's not possible. You're
Mm.
checking in some country, you just swipe, and then they bring in all the data, all the document about you globally. It just comes up. So, do you want to be in that space where you're the one determining or driving that context, or you want to keep doing what is happening now?
Mm.
There's this famous quote that says that Bill Gates saw where the world was going and went to build houses and waited for people to arrive. And
Mm.
everybody arrived and were renting houses from him. And that was how Microsoft came to be.
Mm.
Because the future, if you can conceive it, sometimes your dream may not even be fulfilled in Nigeria. It may be in
Exactly.
Ghana, in other
Exactly.
places. But just understand the context to which God is dealing with you. And as a young person, one thing you must never take away is character, because character is very fundamental.
Exactly. Mm.
People will come to you, opportunities will come, opportunity to cheat people, to steal, Because if I tell you by privilege, because of the kind of people I deal with, I see maybe big things as in big opportunities. Like, in Proverbs 23 or so, says that when you sit before the king to eat a meal, put a
Mm.
knife on.
On your throat.
Exactly. They will bring things, opportunities before you. You have to put a knife on your throat. Sometimes they're asking you, they are just testing you to see, because that place when you read verse 3, he said the king may be testing you with the meal.
Exactly.
So, knife on your throat. It's not everything they put in front of you. You want to eat.
You
It's
know
not
what you
every
should
time
eat.
there is a door. Sometimes they are trying to ask you if you help them do a fraud. And you are saying, okay, okay. Because if you go this pathway, this is the end. There is destruction. But for the
Exactly.
immediate and then learn to, cut that. You are not in competition with people. Like I drove my Corolla for 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I drove it for 8 years. I didn't buy any new car, didn't change anything. But what God was helping me to do at that time was I was building capital. I
Mm.
was investing because the whole idea was own assets that can generate income for you, not just to look like you are rich, but also be able to have the wealth. So all the while, when people were buying new cars, moving to bigger houses, I was doing my small house, and God was helping us. We're pushing, doing brands, and we'll go for meeting, and they'll feel you are poor. Well, it's the feeling, it's not the job, but they
Exactly.
see the quality of what you deliver, they still give you the job. And most of the clients who pay you very big don't even care to know what your car looks like or what your house looks like
Yeah.
because they just know that this person is delivering. Your brand name sells itself. And usually, because we live in this lifestyle thing of social media, take picture, you go and eat, you film,
And
they
fake
say
fake life.
exactly. And it could be a huge pressure when you are young. As you grow older, you begin to realize that some of those things are irrelevant because those things won't pay my children's school fees. As I used to say in social media, likes, shares, comments does not pay my bill. They are all vanity metrics. What pays my bill is the person who pays the money. So even if you like it or you don't like it, it's none of my business. So far you have paid the bill, we are good. And that is how you make money. So once you take that idea out of your mind that it's not number of impressions, number of people that my video went viral does not mean you become rich. I've had content who went viral before and nobody gave me money in exchange. So why do you want to go viral? It's not the nudity that also pays your bill because
Mm.
there's something you want to pay for after you put nudity outside. They want to get your body, and that's why they pay for
Exactly.
it. So why do you want to do that? So there are several aspects of these things that when you focus on the goal, God will always give you opportunity. There are opportunities everywhere. Everywhere, sir. Everywhere there are opportunities. Every
And preparation meets opportunity.
preparation is very fundamental.
Because obviously you were prepared. Even things like you're even still saying it, several certifications up to now,
Yeah,
you're still studying, you're still attending seminars and everything. So
exactly.
you keep preparing yourself, even for the opportunities that you don't even know whether they are still going to happen or not, you
Yeah,
know?
just an interesting thing is I came into Nigeria last week. Between now and then, I've done 70 video recordings, 70 short video recordings, all through the night, all through the day. They are here, and I pay them. I said, look, you know what, guys are not going home. They are with me here. So just take a break, go and eat. So the cameraman was holding the camera and I was
I
sleeping.
was
I said,
sleeping.
that is the
Wow.
that's what I'm talking. And so most like because I want to do 200 videos in a space of about 3 weeks before I travel. And these are all staminas and they are coming from content I've studied. Sometimes I have to just quickly read. And God just give you that opportunity because the day so after that conversation today, a major newspaper in Nigeria, one of the editor was talking, he just called that they wanted to do an interview. And so I said, oh, I did some recording. I said, okay, I'll talk to the units that they want me to provide them with about 30 videos to start with, that they want to put it on their TV, the newspaper TV online. It wasn't like I knew what was going to happen, but
Wow.
because I'd done that, God just opened an opportunity up for it. And that's how it happens. So most times, just keep working hard, keep preparing yourself, because you don't know where God will take you to. When David was fighting a lion, he didn't know where the opportunity was going to happen. So
Exactly.
when he fought Goliath, it was easy. It's just the way it works.
Wow. 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 this had really been so mind blowing, so mind blowing. Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, sir.
Of course, you've been a man, see that a man diligent in his work. He will sit among, I mean, with kings and not ordinary men. And
Yes,
I
sir.
see that scripture coming to fulfillment even in your life. You
Yes, sir.
understand? You are skillful, you are diligent, the hard work is there. And sincerely speaking, from what you have said, um, this your story can be any other person's story
Exactly, sir.
because it's more from like we say it from no silver spoon. It's more like even um, maybe like wood spoon or mud spoon. You
Yeah,
understand? You walk yourself to this place. And you know, one of the things I'm also taking out of what you have said today is that ideas come to you,
yes, sir.
and you don't just those ideas don't come and then you just discard it as it's I don't know what will happen to this, and you were always following through ideas that come
Exactly,
to
sir.
you, ideas someone introduced to you, and in following them through by His grace, that's how I mean, how you have become who you are today. So someone listening out there, ideas are all over you. Somebody said the biggest work to do in life is to think. But I know
True, sir.
many people don't want to think. They want people to do the thinking and then they want to be just copy what others taking time to think out. At the end of the day, you will not be original because it's
Exactly,
not
sir.
coming from you. You are copying someone. And
Yeah,
there's someone said photocopy you easy. So you can't be like the original copy because it's not coming from you. Wow. Thank you
yeah,
so much. Thank you so. Then honesty. Um, I so much I've penned it down the issue of customer relationship, which is
yeah,
one of the things you have mentioned. Many people have that one-off type of mentality. I serve you
yeah,
now. Bye bye. If you need me another time, get in touch. But I see
yeah,
you servicing even that customer relationship.
exactly, sir. Yeah, the biggest money people make is from recurring revenue.
Exactly.
Once you have that, you are able to keep that relationship. People, the money may be coming small, small, but you just discover that you have guaranteed income. And that is how God helps people to scale. That is how most, all these telcos, all those data you buy every 30 days, they can predict their size of income. And that is how businesses scale.
That's true.
And that subscription economy is big, and most people don't do it in their
Wow.
business. One of they feel, oh, I've collected the money and then they move on. Especially, masons, they do a job, they don't do it well, and then they feel, what it don't, no, it doesn't
Another
finish.
person will come. Wow. So, do you have books that you can recommend? Your own books, I mean, for a start, to start with, books that you have written that you can recommend to, I mean, our listeners and people viewing this interview at this moment that can help them at least pick up some of those skills and some of those the values and some of the habits that brought you this way because it's all about habits actually everything you have done walking into super screen studio and then
Yeah,
and then
but
you work with there for 2 years, you know. So do you
NTA too.
have books or materials you want to recommend to the
So
audience?
my own books are a bit technical. I have about two books on Amazon on email marketing and one on digital marketing. They're on Amazon. Once they type my name, Ayeni Efundaya is on Amazon. Then the other ones are Good to Great. It's a very solid book. I always recommend. Um,
Okay,
and then
that's Jim Collins. Yeah.
Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Mm,
Those were books I read that were mental. Then this man who wrote Chicken Soup, Jack Canfield, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. It
yeah.
was a birthday gift. The book was bulky, but it showed a lot of things about self-discipline and all of that. I read that. Then there is this other book about um, which one should I use now? I'm trying to because the man who wrote David and Goliath, he has all those series of
Okay, and the outliers.
so that whole series of book, if you can sit down with it, it also gives you some insight. Then there are some books that talk about business and Christianity. Like there is this one, I can't remember the title, but I can send it to you. My wife just bought it for me, 32 business lessons from the Bible.
Okay,
Then I used to listen to a lot of John Maxwell. Used to listen because I had a lot of his audiobooks. So some I can even quote from my head. Then there were messages I also now listen to by likes of Pastor Sam, Renew Your Mind, um, and then some other ones about business, personal growth. So all those things expand your capacity. Then if they can do a lot of Harvard Business Review that gives you insight into the global perspective and things to
yeah,
come, also give them some insight. But one thing you must never take away is reading. So I don't have so much strength to do so much of visual reading these days, but I do a lot of audio listening. So I have this Amalia software. It's an app I just download. I just listen to all kind of books and interviews on it. So they interact with book owners. I think it's something I will even recommend for you. So your book, maybe I'll see if I can get a recommendation for you. They will interview you, put you on the app, and they are
okay.
one of the big. And then if they have this Amazon audibles, they can buy credits, download the book, and then. But one that helped me fantastically with relating with people is um, this book about how to win friends and influence people. So
Influence
I've read
people.
several books.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that period I read
Wow.
about 40 books. It was a marathon. So
Mm.
I was just reading and reading for about 3 years. And people thought I was running mad. I just kept reading new concepts, new ideas. I was just reading. I didn't know what some of them didn't make sense at that time, but as one begins to grow, Millionaire Next Door, all kind of books around
Exactly.
money, just
Exactly.
wanted to know because I just felt like Purple Cow. How do you become a Purple Cow? That's by Shed Godin. So that's why I said there are many materials, and then how do you
Exactly.
now pen down ideas? Like it was from Shed Godin idea that I was in a barbering salon, and I saw that the place needed innovation. I was talking to the guy and said he didn't have money, and I said, okay, can we co-own the barbering salon? I'll give you
Wow.
money, you renovate, and then I gave him about 700,000. We expanded. Now told him this is now how to do business. You are not supposed to be the barber. Let's hire barbers and you supervise. I have four barbers, and then I started making 20,000 then every Monday from the barbering salon because all the monies they make, they will give me 20,000 as my own portion. And I made that for almost 3 years. So, and then later I just told the guy, dash it to business because I was okay, I had cashed out, I was satisfied, and I dashed it. Most times, the ability to just expand your horizon, your mindset, like
Mhm.
puff puff. So I started that too. All this before they used to hit in the box that they will hit cron cron cron, and it takes them 20,000 naira to build the box and have it full. And those boys will come and give me 1,000 naira at the end of the day. And I had about four of them. And once you do that for 60 days, you own the box and you go with the box. And but before you leave, you have to bring another brother that you introduce that, and they will do that. And that was how the business I was making like 5,000 every day for me. So it's just ability to see through that God gives you an idea, and if these things may not be super expensive, but it may just be where you like. There was a time where we're living, there was a developing area in Ogudu Phase 2, and I gave this woman money to be doing akara and yam and all of it. And because people were building all around, every day she makes return of 3,000, and she goes with the remaining money. And before you know what's happening, I was making 3,000 every day from Monday to Saturday. multiply that is some money, it covers some bills. So when I look at it, if I can have that in 100 places, why should bakery the same way, set up a bakery and say, okay, bring 30,000 every week, you can go with the remaining money. I don't care, but you can make 200,000 from it. And that's how the business like works. And those small monies, God keeps giving you opportunities. When we started lending, it was 250 that I started lending people. And I was doing 10% return. And we kept growing, and then we got big till we finally own a microfinance under that.
Wow.
And really opportunities. The microfinance one we bought, they said they were not profitable. Within 3 months, we became profitable because we were not spending or borrowing directors' money. All the directors in the former system had loans. I don't need the loan. We just needed to make the place work, and the thing worked. And God has just been there for us to help us because it's just an opportunity, and you keep doing it, and then you find other people that will come and help you.
Thank you so, so much, brother. I know we
Thank
can go on and on because I keep enjoying. I always enjoy people that are so deep
thank you,
because
sir.
they really worked on themselves. Obviously, you've worked on yourself, and of course, one of the other things I see, I mean, working for you is the grace of God. Unless the Lord builds the house, the one that tries to do so, they labor in vain. I see the grace of God working for you. You praying 5 hours at a stretch in those days, you have invested prayer into your future. You understand? So somebody may think that, oh, all right, it's just lucky. Sorry, there's nothing called luck. Somebody says, when preparation meets opportunity, that is when people say, oh, he's lucky.
Yes,
He
sir.
prepared himself and then is entering into that grace that God is creating for him. You understand? So if like people talk to me and they say, you are this, I say no, I don't know how to do anything. I
Yes,
do things that I
sir.
just feel God say, oh yeah, do this, and I follow it and it works. And people say, oh, so that's what they call the grace of God, you know.
That's
So maybe you help me in 30 seconds. Let me tell somebody about the grace of God and actually um how do you enter into that grace and it will start working for you because it's just God's grace, brother, over your life is the grace of God.
one of the key things I'll just say is that once you are open-minded towards the things of God and you want to hear God, even earlier this year in February, I was a bit stuck and I just woke up and for like 17, 18 days, midnight, 30 minutes, I just pray and I just keep doing that. And then I play some prayers through in the night, and before you know what's happening, God started giving me favors and opportunities. So in that space, you must be able to open your mind because God don't wake up and call you and say, take this. All God wants you to do is to have an open mind enough to follow through instructions that may seemingly sound stupid. It may sound like what people should not be doing. Like it was as simple as somebody sent me item from Nigeria. I was in the US. And I went to pick up the item and I said to the courier company, do you do last mile delivery? And they said no. It means that from the point where they take the delivery in the US,
Yeah.
everybody needs to come to the store to take it. I said, okay, let's do a business. Do you mind I set up a system that helps you deliver to people's houses? And they said they don't mind. They
Wow.
agreed. Every delivery, I make $50. And I hired a, a Mexican that was doing it. So he goes there in the morning and can pack item from like maybe 50 people in his truck and he goes to deliver. And out of the $50, we are splitting the fee. He takes 20, I take 30.
Wow.
And I'm just there making revenue. And it's just an idea that God just gave to me that period. So your mind must just be able to open up to see some of those things that literally may not make sense because that should have been an idea they should be doing. But I went there and I said they tried it, it didn't work for them and all. I said, don't worry, it will work for me. And I said, give me all your clients. And I sent them text, do you mind? Do you mind? And they were all saying yes, yes, yes. Because they felt traveling this distance, go and pick item was too much for them. And they
Exactly.
agreed, get it done, and they're happy. And they don't care. Because it sounds very small, but God has just been there helping me with that.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, brother. I really I've really been so inspired and blessed. Sincerely, now I know why God dropped your name on my heart.
Thank
I it's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
you, sir.
I,
Well done.
I'll, yeah, I'll still bring you back another day, maybe when, maybe for some of the youths that I'm mentoring here and there, to really come and share with them some of your experiences and just let them know that, I mean, this is how God helps a man.
Exactly, sir.
Wow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so, so much. Thank you
I
so, so very much. All right. So, viewers, thank you so much for joining us. I trust that you have been so blessed. Sincerely speaking, I want you to share this video with youths. You understand? The youth of, I see youths these days waiting for somebody to come and do it for them. They are just waiting. And sincerely speaking, brother, you was also the age of a lot of you when he started burning CDs, getting flash drives on credit, selling them, I mean, 24 hours. Why are you waiting? Why sit you here? The Bible says, why sit you here idle, doing nothing? All right, some of you need to get up from now. And you'll be so amazed where you will get to by the end of this year. I said, no, nobody will give me capital. Have you heard many of the things my brother have said? There was no capital. It was just the grace and the favor of God. All right. Sincerely, I can go on and on how what my brother has shared tonight. I've really been so, so blessed. Thank you so much, brother Dayo. Thank you. And then have a safe trip back when you go back to US.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely now than ever before, we will stay, I'll keep in touch because now I want to tap into that, so
Sorry to disturb you. I will come like Nicodemus in the night.
so, in fact, I've really been so thrilled. Thank you so, so much. So
Thank
please,
you.
everyone there, share this video. It's on YouTube. Share it, and of course, if you're on YouTube, I mean on YouTube, um, you can subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave your comments, but much more than anything, share this video with youth all over. Send it to WhatsApp groups of students, your school's group and everything. Somebody needs to listen to this. All right. So thank you, everyone. Remember the grace of God. Without his grace, you can't do anything. Jesus Christ said that I am the vine, you are just branches in me. Without me, you can do nothing. All right, so please connect yourself to him properly, and you'll be so amazed what you can do in your life. All right, so Pray It All is coming your way again next week. We bless God for how he has done this for us this week. So have a very nice evening, everyone. God bless you. Bye.